The UFC, and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now, Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements. So I legally can't really talk about it.
There is no doubt that Jon Jones's fight with Tom Aspinall will happen very soon. Daniel Cormier, on the other hand, said that Jon Jones was now looking down at Tom Aspinall, a young and dangerous fighter. Jones isn't scared, without a doubt, but there might be just the right amount of doubt to make him think again. Cormier said that Jones may be most worried about the chance of getting knocked out. When it comes to Aspinall, the danger is real. He possesses the kind of power and speed that might knock Jones asleep. He thought that Jones might not want the picture of him sleeping on the canvas to be the last thing that people remember about his famous career.
Now he's looking down at a young man, and it's like, he's not scared. Make no mistake about it. But I think it's enough to question it. And you know what I think a big worry might be for him? Because with Aspinall, he could potentially get knocked out. Legitimately knocked out and put on his back and out cold. And I just don't know that he wants to have that visual of him in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably nailed it right on the head. Right?
There are, however, many things going on behind the scenes between Jon Jones, Tom Aspinall, and the UFC, as Jones said. He said that the UFC is taking the issue seriously because it is one of the biggest and strongest sports organizations. According to him, he and Tom have already spoken and have agreed to wait for the UFC to make official statements before saying anything publicly. He explains that there are legal restrictions on what he can say right now. Therefore, he is unable to disclose any exact facts regarding the impending fight. Even though fans want news, Jones made it clear that everything has to go through the right routes. For the time being, they can only wait for the UFC to make its next move.
When are you fighting Tom?
I was waiting for it. When are you fighting Governor? The UFC, and Tom, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now, Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements. So I legally can't really talk about it.
Furthermore, John Onike forecasted Jon Jones' prediction that the highly anticipated fight between Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall would most likely take place in December 2025, with the preferred site being the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Although Jones fought and won at Madison Square Garden in New York last November, Onike thinks Las Vegas is a better fit for a fight of this caliber. He said that the UFC frequently saves its best fights for year-end shows in Las Vegas, when the atmosphere, crowd turnout, and promotional chances are at their peak. While New York is important to Jones, Onike believes that Las Vegas, regarded as the fight capital of the world, is the most strategic and likely destination for what may be one of the most crucial heavyweight fights.
Aspinall and Jones happen in 2025. What's your gut tell you?
Yeah, I think we see it December 2025, T-Mobile Arena, Dateline, Las Vegas.
Not New York. Why not New York?
Well, Jon Jones fought and won at Madison Square Garden in New York last November.
Driest duplexes commended Tom Aspinall's ambition, dedication, and desire to show himself at the greatest level. At the same time, he allowed that Jon Jones is likely nearing the conclusion of his illustrious career in the sport. Duplessis expressed his desire to see Jones go on his own terms, with his reputation intact. He also voiced hope that Aspinall would rise to the challenge and carry the torch for the next generation of elite heavyweights. Nonetheless, Duplessis stated clearly that Jones remains one of the sport's most dominant fighters, capable of shredding top-tier opponents with apparent ease. He is a great figure in the world of mixed martial arts.
Aspinall is young, he's hungry. You have Jones, who is definitely at the end of his career, 38 years old. I don't need to see this because he's never been beaten. I want Jon Jones to retire unbeaten, and I want him to retire, and Aspinall goes on to be the next big thing. But Jon Jones being the warrior that he says, pay me enough and I'm doing it. Aspinall wants it, and one of them has to lose that fight. And that's the one thing, you look at it and go, Aspinall's probably going to win. But then, if you ask me that, I say, no. We've said that so many times with Jon Jones, and it makes it look easy. He is the greatest of all time.
Sean Ali recognized Jon Jones' legendary career and the impact he has had on the sport, but he also gave a warning. He mentioned that a loss against Tom Aspinall could tarnish Jones' legacy. His age and prolonged inactivity were mentioned as reasons for losing. While those elements may be genuine, Ali stated that they could distort people's memories of Jones and possibly influence his place among the all-time greats in MMA history.
Tom Aspinall? God damn. It's like it's like you risk going down as no matter what, you don't have to fight again. Greatest of all time, people will say that. You're the greatest of all time, greatest of all time, John Jones. Or you risk it, go fight Tom Aspinall, possibly lose, and then it's like, he was the greatest. Then they're saying, yeah, but he wasn't in his prime.
Demetrius Johnson acknowledged Tom Aspinall's skills and promise, but predicted that John Jones would easily win the fight. He said that a showdown between Jones and Aspinall piqued his attention more than Jones facing Alex Pereira, projecting Jones would control and dominate the fight. Johnson also mentioned Aspinall's rumored $30 million demand, suggesting that such a high price could complicate discussions and make the battle less likely to go place.
John Jones will smoke Tom Aspinall.
I don't know, man.
He'll smoke Tom Aspinall.
Tom Aspinall is athletic. I think Tom Aspinall will try to take the fight to John Jones, and it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'd rather see that fight over Alex Pereira.
Yeah,
that's just my
I
opinion.
agree.
Like,
I would like to see that fight over Alex, but come on, man. Aspinall is a great fighter.
Yep.
He's a good champion.
Aspinall.
That's what I said. John Jones will smoke Aspinall.
Yeah.
Smoke him.
I can't wait to see. I hope it happens. That's the fight that needs to happen. I think Tom Aspinall versus John Jones needs to happen.
Why do you think there's so much friction there? Why do you think it's not happening? What? Because we see so
I think
much.
John
on the
Jones said
internet.
he wants to.
Frank Mir believes John Jones would have a significant advantage against Tom Aspinall in a future battle due to his exceptional wrestling and top control. He claimed that Jones wore down Aspinall's jiu-jitsu game by keeping dominant postures and employing powerful ground and pound techniques. Mir admitted that defeating a rising star like Aspinall would be a major victory, but he also stated that it would not dramatically alter people's perceptions of Jones' career. Jones, in his opinion, has already cemented his place among the best fighters in MMA history, and his legacy will continue regardless of future outcomes.
I think Tom might have the best chance of anybody to beat John right now. But that being said, I still think John wins the fight just because of his wrestling. I think he puts, Tom on his back and is able to nullify his jiu-jitsu from being top position with his elbows and control. What does John win to take that fight? He goes out there and beats Tom. Is it really going to make or break his career? I don't think anybody can.
Belal Muhammad stated that Tom Aspinall could be the most difficult challenge John Jones has ever faced, citing Aspinall's unique mix of strength, speed, and athleticism, characteristics that define the new generation of heavyweights. While Muhammad feels Jones still has the talents and expertise to win, he stresses that a fight of this scale would only be worthwhile if the financial stakes were huge. He believed that Dana White will work hard to make the matchup materialize, given its tremendous draw potential. However, Muhammad suggested that Jones, who is already confident in his reputation and accomplishments, may choose for a fight with Alex Pereira unless the UFC provides a large payoff of $30 to $50 million.
If I'm John Jones, like a lot of people consider him the GOAT, the best fighter ever do it. The next hungry lion is Aspinall. It's probably the toughest fight that he'll have. Like, this guy's the next generation. He's a lot stronger, a lot faster. But I think John Jones is good enough to beat him. But it's like, it has to be worth it. The fans are fickle, right? You lose one fight, they're gonna, he sucks. Right? They just care about your last win or your last loss. I think Dana White and them will end up making it. Dana White's a smart businessman. He knows how much money that fight would make. If I'm John Jones, you've already done everything in the sport. It's not worth it unless it's that $30 million, $50 million payday. If I'm John Jones, I'm picking out Pereira first over
Curtis Blades gave Tom Aspinall a modest edge in a possible clash against John Jones, rating his chances at roughly 55%. Despite Aspinall's tiny lead, Blades conceded that overcoming Jones would be extremely tough. He cited Jones's extensive skill set, battle IQ, and years of championship experience as key factors in making him an especially dangerous opponent. Even with Aspinall's quickness and momentum, Blades thinks that confronting Jones would push him to the edge and serve as the final test of his ability.
I think Aspinall beats him.
Yeah, I would pick him. Like, I would go 55% him. Obviously, it's not gonna be a landslide. Like, we're going against John Jones. He's a legend. He got all the way.
Coach Eric Nick recognized that Tom Aspinall's quick hands could provide him a slight advantage in a fight against John Jones, but underlined that Jones is one of the best in the sport in terms of hand control and distance management. Jones' plan against Stipe Miocic involved switching to southpaw to minimize Miocic's jab, allowing Jones to read and counter Miocic's cross with precision. Nix also highlighted a chat he had with Aspinall in which they discussed the need of not allowing Jones to gain control in the B range, a mid-distance where Jones thrives at dictating pace. He emphasized that Aspinall would need to be aggressive and engaged in such times to keep Jones from slowing down the fight and taking over the pace, which is frequently how he defeats his opponents.
What advantages do you see that he has over John Bones Jones?
I think hand speed. But what John does very well, and what we saw in the Stipe fight, is John will occupy your hands. So Stipe's one of his best weapons was always his jab. So you saw John switch to southpaw, lead hand occupy, which left Stipe with one punch, which was a cross. So he was timing the cross to pull off and then was adding on. So I think when you break that fight down, I actually talked to Tom on Monday. We were kind of going back and forth a little bit on some of the game planning things. You can't be in that B range and just kind of get snake charmed by John. Let him grab your hands, let him dictate the pace, let him dictate the rhythm. You have to be hyper aggressive in those positions, and I think that's what Tom would have to do in that.
Aljamain Sterling talks Aspinall. Sterling showed interest in a prospective fight between John Jones and Tom Aspinall, describing it as an interesting collision of styles and generations. However, he admitted that it is difficult to bet against Jones due to his extraordinary mental toughness and excellent fighting IQ. Sterling cited Jones' ability to adapt under duress and outthink his opponents as traits that continue to distinguish him even after years at the top. While acknowledging Aspinall's excellent athleticism and rising potential, Sterling pointed out that if Jones is able to take the fight to the ground, his superior wrestling and top control could change the momentum in his favor, making it impossible for Aspinall to win.
It's a very intriguing fight. If I had to put money on it, it'd be super hard for me to bet against a guy like Jones, just because I know the mindset that he comes in with. Not saying Aspinall couldn't get it done because of all those physical gifts that he has, but dog, betting against a guy like that, if he gets you on the ground, that's just a bad.
Georges Pierre remarked on John Jones' legacy, saying that Jones may be the best fighter in the history of MMA. He added that if he had to pick one fighter in their prime to represent the sport in a one-on-one encounter, Jones would be his choice due to his unrivaled skill set, flexibility, and domination across many periods. St. Pierre complimented Jones' remarkable ability while also providing a realistic perspective, stressing that no athlete is immune to the effects of time. St. Pierre, like Jones, highlighted that age becomes a factor for everyone, and even the most exceptional fighters will face obstacles as their physical peak fades.
Like John Jones, it's probably the best fighter that ever lives. Talk about if I have to choose someone in his prime that I put in the Coliseum hand to hand, I think it would be John Jones. It's hard to deny that.
Rogan on Tom Aspinall. John Jones has met swift opponents before, including Alexander Gustafsson and Lyoto Machida. He recalled Macha's quickness, which allowed him to land some clean blows on Jones, but emphasized that there is a major difference between handling speed at light heavyweight and fighting someone like Tom Aspinall. Rogan stressed that Aspinall, at roughly 255 pounds, has a unique mix of speed and knockout power that Jones has never seen before. While Jones has shown that he can adjust to strikers, Rogan thinks that Aspinall's size and athleticism make him a unique and possibly deadly challenge that Jones has not yet faced in his career.
John has been used to fighting guys like Alexander Gustafsson, guys who are really fast at light heavyweight. So the speed is not going to be as much of an adjustment. Like John's used to really fast people. He fought Lyoto Machida when Machida was in his prime. Machida was a lightning bolt, man. And he caught John a bunch of times. But then there's the thing of getting caught by Lyoto Machida is not like getting caught by 255-pound Tom Aspinall.
Joe Rogan referred to John Jones. Joe Rogan describes John Jones as the boogeyman of MMA, a fighter who can still win even when he isn't at his best. He used Jones' first fight against Alexander Gustafsson as a great example. Despite having a short training camp and arriving less prepared than usual, Jones was able to dig deep and secure victory in the later rounds. Rogan underlined that the rematch showed a different story. Jones, fully motivated and focused, demolished Gustafsson, reminding everyone how dangerous and nearly invincible he can be when locked in. Rogan thinks Jones' ability to perform in every situation is part of what makes him such a famous figure in the sport.
Calling out John Jones.
Yeah.
Right? That's the boogeyman. Like, John Jones is the boogeyman. When he fought Gustafson, he had almost no training camp. They said he barely showed up. Talked to Jackson about it, and Greg Jackson was always like, he didn't even train for that fight. He pulled that fight off in the 4th and 5th rounds. That's when he really turned it up. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't even been training. And then you saw the real John Jones in the second fight. That's motivated John.
That's all for today's show. So what are your thoughts about this? What are your thoughts? Please share your ideas in the comments box. And if you liked the video, subscribe and like it. Check out the other videos on the screen right now.